Our return back to the stream, and I'm now being joined by a lovely co-caster. We got Mr. Armenizi here. Welcome.
Hi. Oh, thank you.
He's going to be joining us and assisting me in the casting this game, and it's a breath of fresh air knowing that I'm not going to be alone this time.
Yeah, lucky you.
So what do we think is going to come out from these two teams tonight?
I mean, I think last time usually tend to be the favorites, but I think they've had their downfalls and they've had some issues. If they figure out the issues, then I think they would take this game. If not, then Equinox can definitely take the game since it's a best of one. It's not a series. This can go either way.
I do have to agree with you there, because I think right now they just the error to last time. Unfortunately, as you say, are making a lot of these mistakes. They're making a lot of misplays, and took the loss against against Genesis last time, and then took a loss against Aeon earlier this season. So I think right now this group is anyone's game, excluding the likes of ATK. This is very much anyone's game in this group. But we are going to take a quick look at the stats here. So we've got a bunch of statistics that we can look at. Particularly, we're going to look at last time. So we did take a look at them yesterday. Nothing too crazy, nothing too new. But hopefully we get something spicier coming out from these boys. Maybe they're going to pull out something different. Maybe they've had a talking to. They've realized their mistakes and going to build a solid team comp this game.
I saw they jumped into a flex game, so I'm pretty sure they prepped something for us.
Oh yeah, so they've been up and ready. Hopefully they got something prepped. We're not gonna look at it just yet to keep the integrity of the players just until they get into game. But from what I'm seeing here, still a lot of Ezreal coming out from Eretega, still Maokai Norless from the Snack. We got C-Lord been spamming the Kennen mid. We're doing a lot of the Kennen mid, so wouldn't be surprised if we saw that. Damulon still playing the Mumu and the Maokai as well as the Zac. And then Smurfy actually playing a bunch of Lee Sin. Could that be the Lee Sin top? I have my doubts, but could it be a Lee Sin top?
I think it is the Lee Sin top. I don't think it's particularly strong, but
I mean, let's take a quick gamble. And take a quick look here.
Maybe a specific counter picks or something.
Yeah, so he has been practicing this Lee Sin top lane. Has been doing somewhat well in some of his games. We're not going to look at the one game which he played with us. That was quite an interesting game, to say the least. But yeah, that could be an interesting pick. Lee Sin top. Always like to see something new coming out of the boys. But then now we're going to take a look at the Equinox roster. Got Bubbles OG in the top lane. Been favoring the GP this season so far, but has been playing a bit of Irelia and Fiora on top of that. Embryonics, it doesn't need many introductions on his champ pool. Loves the Nunu, Lilia, as well as the Rek'Sai. His last time gonna drop more free W's. Well, we're gonna have to see about that, Cappy. We're gonna have to see about that. How much last time getting in the PayPal, dude?
I mean, I'll tell you what, Cappy. Just bet everything on Equinox, and I'll bet on last time, and then
we'll see where the points go. But then Henio also been playing a lot of the Yone. I don't think the Yone usually gets through in almost any of the games that he is in. So but then with the Jace, the Syndra, and the Quinn has been played a bit this season. That hasn't played too much, so we can get a good idea of what he wants to spam. Grom been playing the Varus. 2 games in ranked so far on the Varus, but 50% win rate. And then game on MF, Jinx, and Caitlyn. So for Grom, it's pretty much anyone's game. You can play anything and everything. And then Dark Puppy in the support role. I think he is someone you're also going to be watching out for here. Has had some excellent performances in the last couple of games, especially with this Thresh. But we see he has been playing the Shen. And I would like to see if it is actually going to be the Shen support. Because, so from what I'm seeing, it is indeed the Shen support that he has been spamming. So could be seeing that this game with the Radiant Virtue rush, but Radiant Virtue being nerfed. Very unsure if he's actually going to go for that pick. It's definitely hoping to see some of these picks this game. I don't want to see the same stuff that they've been playing in the past. I want to see something new. I want to see either Sealot or Henio on the new Aurelion Sol. Can we get one of those, please? Like, I'm asking very nicely. Like, I'll gift you channel points if you do it at this point. But yes, so with this roster, very capable of taking a game off last time, just a matter of playing together as a team. But then we've actually got a new set of patch notes we're going to quickly look through. So patch 13.3 was delayed, so it was a lot of stuff came out, but it came out this morning. So we got the full Aurelion Sol rework, which is always nice to see. Like, the champion's looks like he's getting a lot more play in terms of the statistics, as well as me playing it personally. A lot of enjoyment. Feels like an actual champion.
I've played a bit of it and it actually works pretty well. I think Aurelion Sol is a good champ currently. Especially with his new pull and alt knock-up and stun, I think he will be very useful in team fights as well, which was one thing that the old A-Sol used to lack.
Yeah, I agree with you on that part. Like, old A-Sol was just... didn't feel like the godly champion which he's described as in his lore. And then we got to take a look at some Amumu nerfs. This is going to be hitting Demulon just a tiny bit. So Q mana cost decrease and E-base damage decrease, so it's going to be dealing with that. And he got a bit of a, like, it's not a buff, it's a buff and a nerf, so now she spawns with a passive fully stacked. There's a lot of reading to do here. My goodness. But I think the one thing a lot of people have taken from this is now Tipper's health and resistances scale with her ability power. So it could make Tibbers a very tanky boy. And then Tibbers actually gains a bit more movement speed as well, as you put more points into the ultimate. So could see an Annie mid. Don't know how about that. But then we see Jarvan getting his base armor increase, W cooldown decrease, and our shields and screens with AD, as well as shield duration now has decreased. So kind of trying to force upon a bit more of a AD fightery Jarvan build compared to the regular Gore Drinker into full tank. And I think that's definitely a better way to be playing him. And then the nerfs, which I think a lot of top laners are very happy with, and I think Armin's very happy with him too, is the K'Sante nerfs.
K'Sante nerf, finally.
So his health growth is increased, but his Q knockup duration has been halved, as well as the Q3 stun being reduced by 0.25 seconds. The W minimum stun duration has also been decreased by 0.5 at every single rank to 0.25 at max rank. And then his R all out. Resistance lost is now, instead of it just being 65% of bonus resistances, is now 85% of bonus resistance will be lost. So it will be very, very squishy, will be very easy to take down, and hopefully it gives a bit more room to people to outplay it. This is the third patch in a row we've seen casted in here, second time for a nerf. So he received another nerf this patch as his base damage on his E has been reduced in the early game. The cooldown from nearby cast has been reduced by 0.25 seconds. The magic damage on the Rift Walk has now been also greatly reduced. By greatly reduced, I mean is at 10 at all ranks, as well as the bonus damage being reduced by 5 at all ranks. So, not as big a nerf, but I think it just could be enough to maybe reduce Kassadin's Kassa win mentality. At least what I hope. Kale got a bit of a buff. She got bonus movement, more bonus movement speed from her passive, as well as more on-hit damage coming from the Spell Blade, which now scales with 5% more ability power. Kayn, Blue Kayn getting quite a lot of nice buffs here, particularly with the Shadow Assassin. Gains a lot more magic damage on the post mitigation to champions compared to what it used to be. It used to be 30 to 40, now it's 15 to 45% based on level of post mitigation damage to champions. Is now going to be repeated as magic damage, as passive dictates, but it's just a little bit higher. The Q base damage has been buffed, but it's not going to be affecting Ras damage, as it's going to be only affecting base Kayn and Assassin Kayn. LeBlanc getting mana regen growths buffs. Q now costs a flat amount at all ranks, so maybe we can see a LeBlanc this game. as the Blunks are also getting lowered in cooldown. Lee Sin's AD ratio on his Q has been increased, and his the base damage on his E has been decreased, and the slow is increased. So maybe so you see why Papa Smurfy has been playing it here and there.
We're almost getting to the most important buff.
Oh gosh, it's the most important buff. We're just gonna point out here that this buff doesn't matter. It's this one. Trundle's dance speed now scales with his movement speed. That is the only buff he needed. And hello Juju, welcome to the stream. Welcome back. We were looking at some of the buffs and nerfs, but this is my personal favorite, and I think it's Armin's personal favorite too.
I mean, it's one, but I actually have a very, very, very personal favorite, but it's a bit down. I think it's
we'll get to
Zac.
Alright, so right now we get more Zac nerfs, so they are nerfing the AP ratio on his W. They are not nerfing any of the numbers, rather just nerfing the AP ratio to deny more of that AP build that he's been going. They reduced the magic, they reduced the magic damage of his E by 5 at all ranks up until 20 at max rank. And then by also reducing the AP ratio by 10%. But the nerf that people have been waiting for as well is the Radiant Virtue nerfs. Whew.
About time.
The ability haste has been since removed. I think that was one of the key aspects of what made it so strong, is the healing now also has been changed. Instead of being 8 to 16 max health in 9 seconds, it is 12% max health, just flat, so it doesn't scale. It's just the same overall max health, which kind of nerfs it in the late game but buffs it if you get it early. The passive the maximum health gained is now 10 to 15%. The cooldown on the item has been increased by 30 seconds, and the gold cost increased by 200. So kind of evening it out compared to other tank items and in terms of its value. And yeah, what do we think of this nerf? Did you like this? I assume you very much like this nerf, Armin.
I pretty much hate Karma Top and sort of the support fucking tops. So the Radiant Virtue is very welcome. I think with Radiant Virtue and Karma Top, like, you just can't kill her. Ever.
And I think
that is useful.
I think another nerf which was hitting in the ball lane, which I think some supports are going to feel, is the Umbral Glaive nerfs. So now when ranged champions use Umbral Glaive to attack, well, they'll 2 do true damage rather than just 3. As it was 3 for everyone, but they've since nerfed it for ranged champions as they were just making too good use of it.
This is very specifically for the Ashe.
Yep, as the Ashe is highlighted there. We got the Jhin. There's also nerfing for the Jhin support that has been picked up in South Korea, but don't know if Jhin support is ever going to be played here. But as now also with the nerf, which I think was the buff to nerf to traps in a way, is that it will not instantly clear traps anymore. Now you have to go manually clear them, and they will take the regular 2 to 3 hits depending on the trap. Then we got an overheal buff, which now the shield value has now been increased, has been completely reworked. So now the shield value is 10 plus 9% of max health, 20 to 300 based on the champion level. So from level 5 onwards is considered buff. And I think this could be a very useful item for fighters rather than AD carries, as they'll have more health and the shield will be quite useful. Especially in the jungle, where I think you take this and then you take the green jungle item. You just have way too much shielding. And the healing will be quite immense. Melee support adjustments,
Yep, they buffed my main.
Yep, so they bumped Alistair. Oh my goodness.
Wait, so why AP ratios and more health and healing.
Yeah, so the healing is scaled on his max health. It's no longer a flat mounts anymore.
Yep.
That's going to be kind of nuts. And like I said, the AP ratio is 20% bonus AP ratio.
Plus 20% on, I think, all 3 across the board.
Yeah, across the board. Well, 30% on the E, actually. That's quite nice for Alistair.
Yeah. And for those wondering, just pick this into Jack's top and you'll never lose.
Oh, gosh. And I think Kenio could tell you about that one. No, Grom. You could talk to Grom about that one. Grom could even be asking his top laner to play this game. It would be funny. I definitely think it would be funny to see the Alistair top. It would be Mimi. I don't know if we're going to see it, but it would be funny.
No, but it's currently viable. They just buffed it and it was already strong in the previous patch. It will just be better now.
Yeah, and
just
I think
using the Alistair top versus the Jacks, and Yeah, Jax can't engage, Jax can't get ahead.
And one of the buffs which I think was also very much needed is the Braum buffs. Like, I know Braum as a champion hasn't seen much play like in regular games. Is still like a counter pick in a lot of pro play, but not in normals. I see this target, what did they change? So the duration, so now the target duration is now 1, 6, and 11 instead of 1, 7, and 13. So it means the duration will be longer and at a sooner time in the game. The cooldown on the Q has been decreased in the mid game, but then evens out by the time it's maxed. Bonus armor and magic resist has been buffed. Wait, am I reading that right? It's doubled at rank 1.
Yep, that is correct. It's almost
so
doubled across the board.
Yeah, like by the time it reaches max rank, it's about 14 extra resistances. So maybe that's like a 1 or 2 point Andy. At least
And the early game Q for the Braum's cooldowns is also reduced, but late game it still seems the same.
Yeah, so they wanted to make sure his mid game still felt playable, and then Norlis now got a bunch of changes. So now his passive damage is the passive bonus damage is increased. The mana cost on his W has been decreased, but the shield strength has also been increased at all ranks by around 10. The percent max health scaling has been unchanged. The magic damage from Riptide has been given a slight buffs scaling into the late game. Starting from rank 2 up until maxed out, it has been increased about 25 to 20 ability power, with it also being an extra 20% AP ratio. So now, could we see Demonic Embrace rush Norlis?
I still doubt it. It's because it only got increase on his E. His Q isn't increased, or
yeah, it's just gonna be his E.
It's also unchanged, so I still think he won't be that useful as an AP tank.
And thank you, Bella Bean, for the follow. Welcome to the stream. We're gonna hopefully getting into game relatively soon. I believe people are just trying to waiting for the last couple of players to get online. So C-Lord is putting the game together now. We can see the Pike buffs as well. So now it scales with... No, wait, so what did they buff? They buffed its late game scaling. So from rank 2, going to be about 10 damage upscaling up to an extra 45 damage.
See, but this is a weird buff because I don't think Pike really maxes E early on.
Yeah, so like that's a bit of a strange one because Pike generally only maxes E second. We'll go for the Bone Skewer first. So very strange. Maybe trying to incentivize the E max because the damage will be higher.
Usually the games also don't last too long with Pike because he either gets stomped or he stomps.
Yeah, and it becomes too easy for it. And then we have got some Rakan buffs as well. We got the cooldown on his Q has been reduced by 1 at all ranks. Mana cost has been also reduced by 15. The base heal has been greatly increased, scaling into the late game. Now, like, instead of it being a highest of 115, is now a highest of 210, which is actually pretty decent, I would say. But also, again, not sure how I feel about that because Q is generally the last thing you buff on. You max on Rakan, you go W max into E max. So maybe this is trying to also incentivize a Q max for a bit more sustain in lane. And then with the Grand Entrance, does get an AP ratio buff. Does get a bit of buffs after maxing it out. 5 from rank 2 all the way up to actually being reduced. Am I reading that right? So yeah, so it's 125 rank 2, 180, but then it gets lower. Yeah, it's just been all around.
Higher AP.
Yeah, so higher AP ratio.
I think it might help the challenger Rakan mid lane guy, but that's about it.
Yeah, maybe like if a Rakan gets an early lead and buys that extra AP. Maybe also incentivizing Shirelias over the Radiant Virtue. Because giving more AP means more damage. So logically speaking, they don't want these peeps on a tank item on Rakan. They want an AP hard engage. We got Thresh, our boy Thresh here. Wait, so what are they? I need to read that. So they've given it a much higher AP ratio. My goodness, they gave it an extra 30% AP ratio. They increased the damage by max rank by 20. From like getting from 5 to extra 20 by max rank, which I think is pretty good considering it's the first thing you max on Thresh.
This is more or less just more value for per soul that they changed here.
Yeah, so but like so especially he'll gain more damage if he's able to get the souls, but also some Threshers who utilize the Shurelias will also be detecting this, will be feeling this buff quite a bit. The shield per soul has been somewhat nerfed. Instead of being 2, it's now 1.5. The flay, range damage on the flay. The AP ratio, I think, is still the same. They've kept the AP ratio the same, or they've reduced their AP ratio. I think they've just reduced the AP ratio entirely.
No. If you just read the sorry, it seems like they omitted the plus 60% AP because the note does says this results in 0.6 damage per soul, which if you read up above at Q, it says 0.8 damage per soul. So I think they just omitted the 60%
They made it
AP.
like a 50 to 60% AP ratio, yeah, on his E. I think it's pretty good. So tenacity, they've also did a bunch of changes to tenacity, to like the items, to the boots, to the actives. Like there's a lot of change. Jungle adjustments. So they did nerf very early game junglers, and rather incentivizes junglers to be farming early as the gold per treat has been nerfed, but they get more experience per camp. So it seems like it's much more worthwhile that they farm it up and they get the camps early so they can get the experience lead. Early vision has been nerfed. So, well, early vision has been buffed in a way. So it's now, instead of being 240, it's 210 on the ward. And then smite fights for champions. Jungle companions can no longer deal lethal damage to epic monsters, which I think is a pretty solid buff. As that was obviously a lot of the reasons why people were losing smite fights here. So to peeps who had lane barons and stuff stolen, that's a good one for you. Clash updates, competitive updates, behavioral systems, quality of life. But that is a lot of reading. I don't know. Why are there so many bugs? This is the longest one there is. There are so many bugs. Alright. Well, it does seem like we are going to be heading into main screen as the lobby has been put together. I will open the stream for you now, Mr. Armin.
Thank you.
And let's go. That's all right. So okay. Let's get the stream going. Okay. Alright, so we are getting into champ select here for this best of one between these two teams. It is probably looking to be a spicy one, as we're actually getting Winged Exile is going to be subbing in.
Just a question, where's the points vote?
The points votes will come in like middle of champ select.
Okay.
It's just so like people can get their points and people who tune in at that time so they can get it all sorted.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I can get rid of all my points tonight. So just go all in.
Yeah, I would all in on that. But who are you all in on? That's the real question.
I mean, I still have faith in last time.
I mean, I think it would be rude to not have faith in these guys. They've put a lot of work in, and I think hopefully they've been able to work on some of the mistakes that they made last game against Genesis. But yeah, let's see what they're gonna bring out here with what these first three bans coming out. Not very common bans between these two teams. Nunu Lilia taken away from Umbreonix, Yone being taken away from the Henio. Ashe is being hovered and will be picked up. Could be going bot lane as either support or AD carry, but with the small nerfs that came to the support item, the Umbral Glaive, it's very unlikely to be going to the support role, as that is a Zac lock-in as well.
I mean, I think what Ashe value also is brought with the ult, and that remains unchanged. I do think the nerf to Umbral Glaive is something that should be considered. I don't think it's the death of Ash support, but it does seem to be the case here.
Yep, as it unfortunately could be the death of Ash support, as the Nami will be locked in for Dark Puppy.
I also
Also,
like seeing Ty on the Israel
I mean, I
as
think
the safe pick.
maybe Equinox making the small mistake of letting that through. I don't think that was. I think letting that Ezreal through might be a bit of an error, but we will see. We'll see what they're capable of. If they maybe the Ashe Nami could be a counter to it.
And then we have the Sejuani and the Zac still undecided where they are going. They both could be going top or jungle.
And we have seen Smurfy play the Zac top. He did play it. He did play it against Genesis last night. Sejuani, I'm almost like I haven't seen too much of Sejuani top nowadays, so it is likely to be going to Umbreonix, as he always faces the wrath of target bans. As that is actually going to be a Thresh for Lisnek. Big change of pace for him here.
Yeah, I see the buffs really matter.
Yeah,
We
so
just read about the Thresh buffs and now it's here in the games.
yeah, so maybe Lisnek has been listening. He's been paying attention. So we do see the Amumu being taken away from Damulon. We see the Anivia has been taken away from Henio. I don't know what these last couple of bans are going to be. I think it's likely just going to be targeting out Henio once again. Yep, as we see the third ban being targeted towards Henio in the mid lane. They don't want him on anything comfortable, but they keep. I think his ulti is not. Varus is still up. Like, I don't understand. Like, Varus is still up. They've left the Varus up, but maybe won't want to opt for the Varus into the Zac or the Thresh. Too much hard engage for him. So might want to play something safer.
Do you have any idea what Winged Exile plays?
We didn't get to see much. We haven't even looked at Winged Exile's OV.GGs. I think he might be playing AD carry or might be playing top lane. Don't know.
I mean, I would assume top since
Everyone's in
Bubbles
order.
is not in the game.
Yeah. Oh, wait, yeah, okay. Sivir, he plays Sivir. Okay, so then, but he does appear to be filling in for, as the Azir actually being harbored for Henio. And that will be the Azir mid pairing into the Syndra. We saw this exact same matchup yesterday with Sealard on the Azir and Nick Zora on the Syndra. But it's a matter of who can play the Azir better. Will Henio be able to capitalize with this Azir, or will Sealard be able to use the Syndra to his advantage? Now, with the last two picks being hovered here, we see it is going to be the Irelia, as that is now going to be going into the top lane, kind of confirming the Sejuani.
It's an interesting blind pick if the Zac isn't top. I do think that Aurelia can be counterpicked quite hard and punished.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of how, if they play their cards right here, if they want to do this, as it actually still is going to remain the Vi top, the Zac top, and then that is going to be Vi jungle. I don't know how I feel about Vi jungle, especially if she's going to be still trying to utilize the Radiant Virtue with it being nerfed this patch. What do we think?
See how it plays out.
I'm curious to see how, if it's going to be, if Radiant Virtue, the nerfs are going to be felt that hard. So we are going to be calling in the predictions now that we've seen all the team comps. Be sure to get your points in. Be sure to put your points on who you think is going to take the dub in this game. Alright, there we go.
I don't think I've seen Demilon play the Zac in the jungle, but I think maybe they should have pivoted in this.
Maybe,
but I do think this is a solid comp.
It's a very solid engage. I think with the Zac, Vi, and Thresh, they've got very good engage as well as disengage with the Thresh. Like, I think the Thresh kind of rounds out their comp very well. Like, I want to say I'm very glad that that we see Lisnek on something that he can express his support prowess on. Like, he has. It's unfortunate that with the Karma being as strong as it is, almost being forced on it, despite I think he enjoys the champion as well. I like seeing these engaged champions, and I think it's what Era is known for.
Yeah.
Like we've seen, like in the era rivals, there was no shortage of Thresh, there's no shortage of Norlis, and there was no shortage of Pike either. So very glad that we're going to be seeing a hook champion. And then Azir, I think scaling wise, who do we think wins scaling wise?
It's Azir is known to scale quite well, Aurelia as well, but dealing with Zack's HP in the late game would be difficult. But do you think Aurelia wins that? Ash, Nami. I'm actually. Do you think I prefer Equinox's compier over last time? But if last time do get ahead early, then I think they can really run this game away.
I agree. And I think with Ty being on the Ezreal is something he is very, very comfortable on. And hopefully he's able to use and abuse the Kraken Slayer build, which is still quite strong, but also now Manamune has started making its way back into that build.
The only thing I hope for Ty is that it can dodge everything, because the Sejuani ult and the Ashe ult is probably just going to target him.
Yeah, that Ashe ulti is going to be rather deadly, and I think but the thing is, if the Ashe ulti goes wide or Sejuani ult goes wide, there's very good counter engage from the Vi and Thresh. So, hopefully hopefully Ty can make good use of the Arcane Shift, can dodge a lot of these ultis. Wouldn't be surprised if he also plays maybe Cleanse, but we see a lot of points being put on here onto Lost Time. Oh my
Equinox.
goodness. Why is Equinox on the 0? What is going on here?
No faith.
No faith in the boys. Oh, come on. It's a friendly rivalry between the lads, but it's definitely going to be an entertaining game. With it being a best of one, there's a lot more on the line for these two teams. If last time I take this, they will even themselves out in the group. They will be tied up once again with Genesis, and then gonna look for wins in the future and try and keep themselves in that top 4.
We have some points for Equinox now coming in.
Hey, we got some peeps voting for Equinox. Alright, as the spectator delay has come to an end, we are going to be hopping into game now.
Just make sure you click on things fast before it actually loads in, and then you can actually witness this.
Yeah, like, so we want to see some skins. Like, we want to look at the skins, but like, let's hope we can get in quickly.
And also mastering points.
And I think then we'll be able to show what Equinox have let through in the bot lane. And I think giving Ty Ezreal is risky business. So I'm still getting just a loading circle. Okay, there we go. Let's try and get in as quickly as possible. Come on. Come on, show up on stream. There we go. So looking at the masteries, a lot of comfort for lost time here, other than by the mastery 4, but we do see the level 7, almost 600,000 points on the Ezreal. That is a lot of points on Ezreal. But then also, again, that's a lot of points on Nami for Dark Puppy.
Yeah.
And then Grom, 75,000 on the Ashe, 116,000 on the Azir, and then 171,000 on that Irelia. So a lot of Mastery 7s in this game. So that means a lot of comfort for both these teams. But I'm trying to click. Oh, as we're in game, we don't get this. Skins look good, but we have it into game very seamlessly. No need to do the unpause, pausing, all that hullabaloo. So now,
I just want to mention that Discord stream did end.
Oh, it did end. Okay, let me open that up for you quickly.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Let's go to Discord quickly.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
You got it?
Yep.
Alright. So we now are getting into game here. For game 1. There was no fancy invades. It's going to be a 5-man block from last time. With Equinox possibly looking for an invade here. But are going to just remain behind. Aren't going to look for anything. And Winged Exile going to make his way top lane. And yeah, nothing further will come out of it. But looking at some of the runes that have been picked up, we do see it is going to be it's going to be the regular Ashe, as I know Grom does favor the Imperial Mandate Ashe, even in the AD carry role. So
It's just also a small thing to note. If you do look at top river, you will see Demilon has placed a ward, went to base, and bought the Oracle lens, abusing the vision.
Yeah, very
Already
good
in
ward.
game 1.
Yeah, abusing that, like I guess the ward in the late game is going to be very useful. Going to be incentivizing the pushing into the late game. Embryonics going to be starting on the red as well as Vi starting on the blue, so they are going to be encountering one another at this next at the Scuttle Crab. But what do we know about the Zac and Aurelia matchup? You said something about how Aurelia could be countered by it.
No. Zac does kind of lose this matchup. Unless he plays it well. But Aurelia shouldn't have kill pressure on the Zac, so Zac should be fine.
So Zac should try and remain as healthy as possible, and I think I really want to see how this is going to play out. Dark Puppy being very aggressive, losing the trade there. Israel opting for the Exhaust as well as Conqueror. Is now Exhaust 80 carries or Ghost 80 carries seems to be the way to go. Heal's just not having as much value anymore nowadays. Now Winged Exile does land the stun and is going for the fight, but Papa Smurfy actually coming out fairly even. Embryonics has made his way top lane here. Papa Smurfy a little bit too overextended.
Yeah, see, this is the concern. Is
Yep, Papa Smurfy having to burn the flash, but the
It should
stun
be
will
dead, yeah.
come out. That should be dead. Stun comes out from Aurelia, flash comes out, stack does go into Puddle, and that is going to be a kill going over to Equinox and putting Aurelia in the lead.
it's a bit to be expected.
Zac kind of overextending a little too much for his own liking. Bit of it made it very difficult for him to get out. Did have to burn the flash. Is only level 2 to the Aurelia's level 3.
Also, the Dark Seal. I'm not a big fan of rushing a Dark Seal, but if he does manage to get any kills, it would be useful.
Yeah, and I think, as we have spoken about Papa Smurfy's Zac before, it's something he's very comfortable on. And I think he's very capable of making this a very strong pick. Now with Vi also pathing into the top side, was looking to maybe assist, but there will be no further gank there, as the Snack and Tigger are going to be pushing out the bot lane. Could be looking for maybe some aggressive hooks under the house. The hook does land onto Dark Puppy. Massive amount of damage coming out there, as the Snack Tank and Tower Ghost coming out from Grom. Tigger does not have the E up, but does have Flash. As there will be a Ghost for Grom. It will be Ghost traded for Ignite. So I think that's very favorable in that lost time. As well as the pots having to be burned for the Nami. So Nami will be sitting a little bit behind, which should not be too bad, as we'll be able just to stand that up with the W.
So, one thing to note,
two members actually coming into the bot lane. The Dark Pup is a lot of danger. Does not have the flash and does fall to Sealord. But yes, you got what you were saying, Armin. Sorry,
I think, one thing to note is Ty did opt for the exhaust, and there is no cleanse, so hopefully he can dodge everything, or else he will suffer.
I mean, I feel like he has on the champion that he has this kind of confidence, and I feel like cleanse wouldn't be as necessary as it would be in a lot of conventional AD carry lanes. And he also did opt for the bone play, playing it super safe. But that was a really good run coming up from Sealord and from Mad Demilon here, as that will be a kill going over to Sealord as well. Tigger is in a precarious spot. Exhaust coming out onto the Ashe, but Ashe taking a lot of damage as Nami also makes her way there. Ty does not have any mana, does not have any health, and looks like is going to just fall straight to the Nami. No, oh, wait, what the? Okay, Nami picking up the kill on Tigger. Papa's almost getting solo killed, but will make it out alive. As the kill goes over to Nami, Ty falls, and can't say it was well executed. Was probably gonna be able to win that 1v1 against Grob, but then
if you look at this miracle, we do have a Bramble Vest in a top lane being rushed.
Oh, love to see it. Very good into the Aurelian, who generally rushes the Bork or rushes the Vamp Scepter. But now Lesnek looking to keep the wave pushed as well, or try and deny any backs. Is looking for Nami, is looking for the Ashe, but they are both very confident under their tower. As I get a hydrate from Juju, but I don't have anything here. Oh, I have. Okay, I don't have anything here. I will get water now, Juju. I will hold on to it for after the game. I promise I'll do the hydrates.
You can go get water. I'll get this.
All right, Armin will look after you while I get water.
It's fine, as we just see Demilon clear his jungle and doing a quick back here. There's not really much to do here. Much is happening in the map. The snake is setting up in the brush. And we do finally have the wave shoving in top. So far nothing exciting happening, and Justin definitely isn't missing anything here. But it might look to change, as we do have the Rift Herald also coming soon, with the dragon being up. Perhaps they're looking to set up the dragon from last time here.
I've made my way back, and I have got water, and I need to commit my contractual agreement.
So more or less, it does seem like they are looking to start the dragon here.
They are going to be zoning Dark Puppy to behind the dragon pit. Going to be playing the vision very well. We'll be putting the dragon out, as that is 4 members of last time on this dragon.
Yeah,
and does
Equinox
not look like
can't contest this.
There is going to be no contest coming out, as that is going to be the Infernal Dragon going to be picked out for last time. It will be in Chemtech next, so we're not going to get that soul, unfortunately. But this could be a bit of a boost to damage to all sides of the map, giving Ezreal a bit more damage to poke. But Henio has made his way bot side, does have the Streamer Shovel Ash Arrow coming out, still hitting Ty. But we do see Ezreal is just in a very precarious spot. Flashes and gets hit by the Ash Arrow, but that will be a kill going over to Henio.
It's unfortunate to see.
Unfortunately, did not have the flash available or the exhaust available, so that is just a kill going to be going over to Henio. That is going to even things out in the mid lane as well. But Zach going for these aggressive trades. It actually went for the Conqueror rather than the Grasp. And the anti-heal also doing a lot of work, as it is going to be fighting. Is already the mid wave. Already it does use the ulti, so does the Zac. But Zac is actually dominating this lane quite hard as he zaps the flash. And that is a solo kill from Baba Smurfy onto Winged Exile.
The Bramblebase is putting in work.
And then there's also 2 Zacs on the Dark Seal. So I think Smurfy looking good, looking spicy. And then in the bot lane we see Ash has picked up a Noon Quiver as a 2 assist. Hook does come out onto the Nami. Really good poke coming out, box coming out, as well as the Ezreal ults. But that will just be a Dark Puppy flash. Bubble does land, and Dark Puppy is taken quite low. But Ty just effortlessly poking them under tower, despite having 2 deaths. It does still have that very good lane poke and lane aggression, even with the extra CS he has over this Ash.
There goes the Ash Arrow.
Oh!
And it goes wide.
Just goes wide onto Sealod. Grom very ballsy here with these arrows, but we do see there's going to be a fight coming on top, and his hook lands, bot Nami tidal wave comes out, but that is going to be behind Sealod fighting Embryonics and Exile on this Herald. Zac looking to jump in, does jump in, as well Glacial Prison does come out, but it is not going to be enough, as now 3 members of Lost Time rotate exceptionally well to that Rift Herald, take down Embryonics, and pick up the Rift for themselves, as if... Whew,
goes wide.
very close, actually. That was way closer than it should have been. As I think right now Tigger and Lisnack have the dominance, have the lane pressure there. They do know that Darkness does not have the tidal wave, but does land the bubble. Does, and Ty has built up quite the lengthy gold lead, seeing an 84 CS to 60. I see the Henio does drop the Shurima Shovel, does throw Sealot into tower as Embryonic does Q into the mid lane. Damulon is tanking tower and will fall again as Henio picks up a double kill. As then now a flash has to be burned from the Ash, avoiding the Thresh Hook. But yeah, a bit of a misplay coming out from Mad Damulon in the mid lane. Does tank more tower shots than he did intend. The tower shots did get buffed this patch. As Zac goes in for the leap, does land the leap onto this Irelia, doing a lot of damage. Aurelia actually just not doing damage. And it's just taking way too much of it. Not healing a lot either. Ash Arrow did come out, did land on the Snack. Didn't hit the Ezreal. As score is fairly even, with Equinox sitting 18 with about 700 gold behind now. But I think Ceylon needs to be wary that Henio does have double buff, so he's gonna have a lot of poke. Papa Smurfy once again in the position where he has got pushed prior over this Aurelia, but cannot really walk up to her under tower, as he'll probably just start taking tower damage. Ceylon denying Henio's back. As Dark Puppy is making their way mid lane there. Will drop the tidal wave. Ceylon will sidestep it. Papa Smurfy has made his way to mid lane. Will land the knockup onto Henio. Henio does get out. But the Gravy Prism does land on Papa Smurfy. But that is now 4 members of last time in the mid lane. Vi ulti coming out onto Umbreonix. Hook does land on Umbreonix as well. Excellent hook coming out from the Snekia. And that is a double kill going to this Vi. As now Tigger and Grom are brawling it out in the bot lane. Tigger does have a full Essence Reaver, so will be in his favor as Winged Exile going onto Ceylon here, does land the stun, does pick up the trade kill as Winged Exile now utilizing that walk and taking down the Syndra. Alright, Hexfire is coming in from the Snekia, Ignite coming in as well, Hook coming out, but Israel very easily able to get this kill. Bubble goes down. Will grab the snake, but Israel does have the arcane shift over to get the wall, but Azir able to land the Q over the wall, and that will be another kill going over there. 3-0 as the snake is caught between a rock and a hard place, or in this case a pig and a fish, and will fall to one of them. Will he? Makes out, but the bird comes in. It sounds like a really bad joke. A skeleton walks into a bar with a bird, a pig, and a fish. Like, it's just does not make it out, as we see Equinox are going to be opting to pick up this dragon. It will be their first dragon. Vi is there. We got Ceylon is going to be roaming down from the mid lane. We got Ezreal on his way. Ezreal does not have the ulti available, as Vi goes to the Q and steals it. Massive scale of the week coming out from Ceylon and picks up kill onto this Nami. Ezreal, the team look like they're going to be chased. The Vi does drop the ulti onto Henio. Henio does drop the ulti, does dash out. But Tai using the arcane shift over the Azir wall, and that will be a kill onto him as he picks up a double kill. Massive ulti coming out from him, as that now is double kill for Tai. That is a shutdown onto that Azir, and now that is a very fed Ezreal.
Look at this value coming out from the Borg.
Yeah, the Borg value for Irelia is just too much, but right now Grom is also in a very precarious situation. Exhaust coming out as the Snake picks up a kill onto Dark Puppy. TP coming in from Winged Exile. Tai is going to have to run for his life. Hook coming out, doing his best. Does just sell his life for this Ezreal. Make sure that that shutdown does not go to anyone that could use it. And that will also be tower picked up by last time, as Henio did have to rotate, did have to back, and we'll just get a free tower off that. Papa Smurfy now proxying away, clearly just making Exile's life a bit of a nightmare in terms of getting farm. And speaking of farm, Grom is a tiny bit behind this. Ezreal has a full Essence Reaver and halfway to the Navori, and with him struggling to pick up that first item is looking a bit grim for the Equinox bot lane.
You mean looking a bit grom?
Looking a bit Grom, okay. It sounds like a joke Grom would make, so... It's definitely the joke that Grom would make, so... We gotta do him proud. A Scout of the Week does go wide, does not land onto Grom. This is a very scary Syndra. Grom best not be walking too close.
I see we have the Cleaver Rush from the Vi coming in.
I mean, I definitely think it was a pretty decent pickup, because Sejuani is going to be picking up a lot of armor. Hook does not land onto Umbreonix here. Up, Ash Arrow coming out, but gets sidestepped. Really good sidestep coming out from the Snake there. The Black Cleaver Rush is going to be picking up the Divine Thunder, so it's not going to be opting for that Radiant Virtue build anymore, as Mad Demulon is making his way top lane. And that is going to be 3v2 as We also see Vi did also opt for the, I believe she has opted for the overheal. As mentioned, the fighters will start picking up overheal now. It does scale with max health, so more health you build, the bigger the shield is. I think especially if you're going green, and you see the Q coming over, tidal wave does knock a lot of people up. Henio dropping the wall. Gage of Prison does go wide. Tigger is on the back line, just taking out Henio, but does get stunned up, but it will not be enough. There's 4 members of Lost Time collapsing. Dog probably having to burn the flash. Grom is all by himself, does drop the ghost. Big damage coming out from the Syndra. As Flash ulti coming out, the unleashed power coming out from C-Lord is now going to put him at 3 for 2 for 5, and unfortunately Grom is the victim of a rather brutal tower dive. The Lost Time have made very proactive plays here. Was looking rather even between Equinox and Lost Time, but now have since made a drastic improvement in their overall team play. I think this is the patch that they needed. I think a lot of the champions which they enjoyed were those bruisery tanks, but like now with the item change, now they can just play them like bruisery tanks rather than having to play them full tanks. And also, we see Syndra did pick up for the Archangels as the second item. Looking for that lifeline, going to be very useful, especially into all the hard engage coming out from Equinox here.
Can we see how many stacks the Syndra has here?
Yeah, let's take a quick look here. So that's the Azir. The Syndra is sitting on 76 stacks, so still got a little bit of a way to go until she has her execute available. But Zac is looking for a fight onto Winged Exile. Does not land it, but does land the Q rather.
Does he win this?
I don't know. That is a Blade of the Rune King Aurelia, and I like. Blade of the Rune King Aurelia is a full build Aurelia, essentially. Vi has now got 2 full items, full Divine Sunray and full Black Cleaver. As the Adult coming out, massive engage coming out from Equinox here. They do catch out Ty on this Ezreal, and that will be a shutdown going over to Grom. Vi, they are sitting patiently waiting. There are crucial ults not available. Vi will
take the cleanse.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe he would be starting to regret not taking the cleanse here, as now this does give a free dragon over to Equinox. Vi could be looking for a steal, but does not look like that. Vi is going to be just continuing to do her camps. Nothing's going to be there. Giving the first dragon to Equinox. I think Lost Time playing with their food a little bit here. But at the end of the day, I think with both sides, there is a lot of pick potential coming out from Equinox here, especially as we've seen with the Ashe and the Azir ult. But then with that, the Vi as well as the Zac will also have very, very good engage. Scatter the Weak can disorientate an entire 5-man, can make it very hard to figure out who to focus. So Zac picking up the first item, which is going to be the Jack Show Proteon. As Vi goes in for the dash, does not land it. So here's a tower picked up for Lost Time. They will back out as Smite coming out from Embryonics. That is now a 4v3 as C-Lord gets Shurima shuffled under tower. And Henio will take down a kill as a massive Nami bubble lands. The Snake having to flash over the wall. But that will be nothing picked up in the mid lane. Zip takes some very low health bars here on the Snake. As there was a good bubble into tidal wave, but there was no follow-up, there was no kill traded. But I think Henio picking up that kill 5 and 2 on this Azir. Obviously, no respect was shown. Like the Syndra walking right up into his tower range does get Shurima shuffled into tower, and it's just not much she can do once she's under there. With Vi dropping the Herald, that means they are going to be looking to push out this bot lane even further, put more and more gold into the back pocket of this Ezreal. It does pick up a big chunk of gold. Oh goodness, why am I so tired? So if we just take a look at the gold right now, it's 9,000 gold, 6,500. That is 2,500 gold lead for Ezreal. Zac is sitting about 1,000, just under 1,000 gold behind. Vi is about 3,000 gold ahead of the Sejuani. Azir and Syndra I'd say somewhat even, only about realistic 400 gold separating them. That is maybe just a Doran's ring. So still even in this mid lane. The gold all sitting on this tie, all sitting on tie, all sitting on this Vi. And that rhymes.
Unfortunately, it does.
Very unfortunately. That's it. We have to make the bad jokes because Grom's not here to make them. Scatter Week does not hit. As I see last time, I'm going to try and look for preparations for the Baron. As there is a TP available for Papa Smurfy, so they could opt to start this as a 4-mana bait out and even force out a TP. But right now, I'm going to just keep fighting for this vision. As Papa Smurfy is going to be caught up by this Aurelia. We'll just look to just leap out, not look for a fight.
It would seem as though Aurelia is also opting for the Jack show.
Yep. Very interesting that the item is still getting as much play as it is. As Asher does go wide, big engage tool, but Vi does get the engage onto him and everything to dash back, but the Vi ulti does land. And that is a dead Azir. Ezreal eating over the wall, but does get hit by a massive knowing bubble. Grom flashing over using the ghost. But now he has to kite out 4 members of Lost Time. As more and more looking in the favor of Lost Time as they're building a bigger gold lead. Sitting at 5,000 gold. And they are going to be starting up the Baron. Up.
Executed.
Grom asserting his dominance with the execute and the mastery emote. But that should be a relatively easy Baron for Lost Time. No contestation. Sejuani has not even been able to walk into the river yet.
Aurelia taking the bot towers.
Yep, Aurelia is getting picking up a tier 2 for Equinox, kind of adding some more gold. We're using the gold leads only about 5,400. And with this dragon coming up, this is going to be a very big fight for Equinox. If they are able to pick up the dragon, they can kind of delay the game. If not, it is going to be Lost Time's point of ending, as they can end through mid and they all can end through bot, as there's only inhib towers and Nexus towers standing their way there. Now Azir is trying to get out some vision. Will just dash over the wall there. Hook will not land. No prediction there, unfortunately. As Umbreonix is going to be looking for the steal. Winged Exile is bot lane, and the 3 members are coming through the top side. Ashe ulti does land onto the Syndra. Tidal Wave coming out. But massive damage coming out from this Vi on this fight here. Winged Exile going in for the 1v4. Does try a flash desperately, but it will not do anything. Vi does not have the cease and desist available. But that is 2 members of Equinox dead just for 1. And looking a bit dangerous. That's now just 3 dragons going to Lost Time. A snake going for the hook, does land hook onto the Azir. Azir is in a lot of danger right now, does go golden. Tiger is on the back line. Is able to do a lot of damage, does Arcane Shift onto the Azir, picks him up for a double kill, and then a triple kill onto the Sejuani here.
And still the Baron powered minions goes on.
Yeah, so Lost Time utilizing this Baron push very well here. Tigger being able to get onto that back line very easily. Making sure people know that he is the king of Ezreal. And that you should never ever let it through.
Grom.
And
he overstepped.
He walked a little too close to the sun there. Does get caught out, does fall. Unfortunately, Demian going in for the engage. Hook does go wide from the Thresh. But the Nexus towers are falling. Irelia is dying. Nami going in for one last ditch effort, but nothing will come out. Umbreonix leaving the game. Flash Q coming out from Vi. Scatter the Weak. Unleash Power coming out from Syndra. Scatter the Weak denying the Shurima Shuffle. And that will be game going over to Lost Time.
And funny, the redemption for Lost Time. They can win, it seems. Been unfortunate last few games, but it do seem that they can still play together and play well.
They do seem to be working very well like this game as a team. I think one of the key aspects was Ty getting the Ezreal. I mean, it is his highest martial champion, and it does reflect, if you look at the damage graphs, as did 20k. C-Lord not far behind with 15,000, and then the Irelia with another 15,000, and then Azir behind that.
I still
So-
can't believe that it slipped through the bans.
Like, that's the one thing I think you just should not be letting through, especially as going up against last time is this Ezreal. I
I
think
think two
rather
things are
picking the
certain: banning Kiana against Nick and banning Israel versus Ty.
yeah, those are just the bans that are always necessary and bans that always should be coming through here. So, with the best of one, that will be last time's win. They will be moving up on the leaderboards. They will be moving up back into top 4 alongside Genesis, Royalty, and ATK. But for now, we still got more games. Still got about a week and a bit before the Mettlestate tournament ends. So from me, from my lovely co-host Armin here, I would just like to say thank you so much for everyone to be tuning in, to backing the boys. I hope to see you all soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and hope you don't int your rank games.